What is up, fishing people? Isaac M. Finger back at it again. I am going to do a second part to that Senko video I did before. This is my white Senko, and we're going to talk about rigging a little bit more. Alright, so the first thing we're going to touch on is something I hinted at and kind of explained in the last video. It's the O-ring technique for wacky rigging. So I've got an O-ring tool here. You don't have to have one. You can make them. There's videos on how to make them out of like Sharpies and things of that nature. But basically all you do is you got your Senko, and that way you have to have a tube and it'll pop it in there, and you can measure where you want your O-ring to go, and whenever you push it, just like that, you've got an O-ring on there. And then you want to take your hook for whatever style wacky rigging or whatever style hook that you want to use, and you can hook through that O-ring, and I like to go just barely into the skin of the Senko itself, but there you go. So that is your wacky rig. I also hinted on and did not give a name to it, so I'm going to give a name to it now. It is called the Nico rig, and it's basically a wacky rig setup, except you're going to put your nail weight in it, and whenever you push your nail weight up into it, like that, it's going to weight that one end. So what you want to do whenever you're putting your O-ring on, you want to get that weighted end to be your short end. And what that'll do is that'll give you your long end will be your unweighted end, so that's going to hit the ground or your bottom, and this is going to float, give you a lot more action on the one end. Okay, so now that we got the Nico rig and the wacky rig with the O-ring out of the way, we're going to talk about a few more rigs. Comment in the bottom if I accidentally say the wrong name for the rig that I'm talking about, because I'm bad about that. We're going to talk about the Ned rig next. I like the Ned rig. It's very finesse style, and I like it with a weedless jig head hook. But basically what you're going to have is, let me get another Senko out here, or sticko. So you got your full sticko. What I like to do is go, you're always going to have that flat space where there aren't any ribs. Go about 3 ribs, 2 ribs or so, and then what you want to do, pinch that off so you got a shortened Senko. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna take, I use a weedless, you don't have to, some people do, some people don't, but I got a weedless hook here, jig head hook, and you want to measure your length with the shank of the hook about like that. Okay, and then what you want to do, that's where your hook is going to come back out. So you push it up and around, and whenever you bring it back out, you got to get it up on there. Excuse me. Sweet tea. But what you got, something that's going to look kind of like that. Push that wire back down on your weedless hook if you're using one, which I tend to because I don't like weeds on my junk. But that's going to hit your bottom, and this is going to stay up and have a little bit of action. So that's a nice way to do it. Another way you can do it, which is similar to what I just showed you, is you can use one of these screw type jig heads like that. And the only difference is, instead of threading it on to the hook that way, you're going to take the screw that's on it and screw it on there, measure a little bit, get a good eye for your distance, and you might have to do it a couple of times for you to get it exactly precise, but then it's going to do similar to the Ned rig that I just showed you. It's going to hit the bottom, and you're going to have that action right there. Okay. Last but not least, the Carolina rig, which I actually don't use, just because I feel like all of the other rigs I can get sufficient hookups and sufficient fish with it, so I don't tend to use it very often, but sometimes it can be a little bit helpful. So I'm going to just get some line just to demonstrate. Okay, kids, don't do that. Bad for your teeth. So, first thing first, you're going to have a swivel. Tie your swivel on with whatever knot you want to use. Whatever knot is comfortable for you. So, once you get that tied on, I will show you here in a second what you're going to do. So you got your swivel on there, okay? And so what you're going to do is you got a line and a swivel, and then from your swivel you're going to have another line, as you probably expected. And I'm not even going to do any particular kind of a knot here, just to show you guys. So you got a line, swivel, and a line. So your line here is obviously going to be going to a hook for your senko, and I'm going to use a 3/0 Gamakatsu EWG bent hook. And what you want to do is you tie your hook on. I'm just going to use a regular overhand just because I'm not fishing right now. If you guys would like to know what type of knots I actually use, then let me know. So you got line and you got your swivel, and you can judge your distance, do it separately, do it different. I've got probably 16 inches or so. It's a little bit long, but that's alright for demonstration. And then you take your senko, just like I showed you in the last video, Texas rig, just like that. Spin it around, take your measurement on your hook, just like that. Go through there, and you're Texas rigged up. I like to go back through, make it a little weedless. So you got your senko down here, swivel right here, and then you put a bead on, and then the secret to the Carolina rig is you put a bead on your swivel, right above your swivel, I should say, and then a bullet weight. So you got that there. I don't have a bead because, like I said, I don't tend to fish this very often, but that's the way it goes. So you got your bead, and then you got a bullet weight, and it's going to go down into the water column, and then this is going to it's going to drop, and then your senko is going to drop slower down in the column, hit the bottom. So, and then you can drag it through the bottom, and every time you twitch that, your senko is gonna kind of bounce back up, do some crazy action, and float back down. That is the Carolina rig. So, if you guys got any questions, comments, ideas for videos, let me know. I'm gonna put up a video about one a week, maybe more, maybe less, who knows. So just let me know, like, comment, subscribe. This is Isaac M. Finger. Thank you very much, and I am out.